let's move on to Halo Season 2.
Oh, what episode is it?
So this was episode 5.
Okay. I'm curious on your thoughts on this one. Want me to go first on this one?
Yeah.
All right, Halo Season 2, Episode 5. So I thought, surprisingly, this episode was going to be worse. We were talking about it last week, how it could be a full Quan episode, and could be like Season 1's full Quan episode after an awesome episode. I still don't think it was an amazing episode, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it was a very average episode. I didn't necessarily like anything. Like, nothing stood out to me. I guess, no spoilers, but there was a moment where some characters make decisions, which I thought makes sense considering where I think they're going to have Master Chief in Season 3 go. Yep. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty average episode. I was between a 5 and a 6. I'd probably give it a 5. I think it's the definition of average. So 5. Not bad, not great. It could have been worse. I thought it was going to be worse. But for like an aftermath of Reach, I will say I'm a little disappointed, but it was okay. So I'd say 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I was between a 5 and a 6. I ended up going with a 6. And I'll talk about why. There was basically one scene that just bumped it just a little bit above average. But yeah, for the most part of the episode, it was pretty average. And there were some parts that I really didn't care about. There were some parts that were interesting, and I'm curious where they're going. But yeah, the pacing definitely slowed down quite a bit after Reach.
What I didn't care for too is like it didn't necessarily even focus on the fall of Reach. It focused on certain characters, but it didn't focus on, like, I don't know, it felt like it should have been more of a what's the word I'm looking for, like a tragedy, but it didn't feel like that. For like, I mean, you lost all of Reach, and it's like no one's like, I don't know. But sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
You're good. That was pretty much all I really had to say before spoilers. Pretty average episode. I think it had one really good scene that bumped it just a little bit above average, but the rest of it was pretty average. So that's why I went with a 6.
Yeah. All right, let's get into spoilers. So spoiler alert. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, go watch the episode. Come back.
Halo.
Listen to us rant and praise and all the above.
Spoilers for Halo Season 2, Episode 5.
So the first thing I want to say is, so they focused on tragedy in the sense of Vanek and like certain characters, but no one like talked about the granularity of what just happened. Like there's no plan. The first thing they did is go to find what's his face's son, which I get. I would do that if I was my son.
Sure.
But shouldn't there have been like, okay, let's all gather together. We need to figure out what the next move is. I don't know. It just felt very like the world got destroyed and like you're going on a side mission to save his son.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say to kind of defend that a little bit is Halsey did mention that it was a strategic defeat by Ackerson. And it seems like they're the ones more in control of figuring out what to do next, whereas who we're following, Master Chief and Halsey, they're more kind of just on their own. Like, what do they do? Yeah. So, but I mean, I see what you're saying, though. The impact of Reach falling should have been more of a center point, and like, what do we do? How does humanity, move forward and continue surviving? And they definitely glossed over that.
That's what I'm saying. It's not. I get what you're saying, and I agree with that. Maybe not planning the next steps, but just understanding the granularity of what just like a whole world just got shattered.
Yeah.
Or it's going to get shattered.
Like, I think the best way to put it for how I feel about it is like last episode, it seemed like such an impactful thing just happened. And then this episode like kind of lost some of that where it didn't seem like that big of a deal.
Oh, for sure. I thought this episode was still going to be on Reach, to be honest. I didn't think they're going to get off Reach that quickly.
Yeah, it got off pretty quick.
I thought Reach was going to be like a multiple episode thing. Although I was reading in the books, or doesn't it take Reach a few days to like glass?
Yeah.
So couldn't they technically go back or something?
They could. I don't expect them to, honestly, but they could.
Yeah, there's nothing to go back, I guess.
Right.
Unless there's like some hidden armor or something that what's-her-face mentions. But
the Mark V, yeah.
I know. I was hoping those theories would be right.
Halsey may have it stashed somewhere, They still could do that.
So another thing I did like, what's the Spartan's name? The one that got injured.
Riz.
So I actually don't mind her storyline in the sense of like kind of what I mentioned before, spoilers. It makes sense she's not going to keep continuing with Chief because they have to make Chief alone once it gets to Halo, right?
It's definitely looking like they're moving that route, which is good.
Yeah, like Bennett's dead, she's staying, Kai's doing her own thing with what's his face
with Ackerson.
So, like, I like her story. They already set it up for a few episodes that she wants a peaceful life, and she's got super injured. I didn't like her running back out to Vanek. I thought that was dumb. And I get what she's trying to say, right? Spartans don't leave anyone behind. But then 2 seconds or like 10 minutes later, the chief said that the bodies don't, like, once they're dead, your bodies don't matter. So, like, I didn't understand that. The chief is preaching that the bodies don't matter once you're dead. It's just a body. But then she goes out and does, or like, why? I guess it's more so in the writing, not the character. Why didn't they just write them dragging him up while the ship's coming and then she gets shot?
Yeah, I don't know. That was a little
You know
bit
what I'm
silly.
saying? Like, it felt silly. They could have written it better where they just grab Chief, they grab Vanek, and they're all dragged into the ship, and then she gets like shot bad or something. Instead of her doing something stupid.
Yeah, that
bothered me
silly.
a little bit, just because it just felt silly.
Yeah.
I guess you're right, that's the word I'm looking for.
Before that part, though, was probably my favorite part of the episode was like when they're in that hallway and the brute comes down, seeing them fight a brute. I thought that was a really cool action scene.
Yeah, and then Juan comes and ruins it. Saves the day.
Oh yeah, saves the day. But yeah, I like that fight. That's what brought it up to a 6 to me. It was really cool seeing a brute.
It was cool seeing a brute. I just wish we saw more of the brute. And that's why I said Quan ruined it, because I could have saw more of the brute. But dude, they're trying so hard to make us like Quan. So hard.
I know.
Instead of making her annoying and wrong, they're just making her annoying and right about everything.
One question I had was, how the heck did Lara find them in that building on Reach? I have no idea. That was
I wish they would. Yeah, you're right. Did they have like a sting? Like, if I ever go missing on Reach, meet me here.
I doubt it. That was not hinted at all.
I guess that's like the headquarters of evacuation. So maybe they just she. But does she know that though?
I don't know how she would.
Has she ever been to Reach?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Seemed
she's
like
a kind of character, isn't she? She's not in books or anything.
No, yeah, she's new, I believe.
So that's true. I don't think she's ever been on, or at least not that we know of.
It just kind of seemed like a Deus Ex Machina. Oh, yep, we're here to save you kind of thing.
Yeah. See, but like that's exactly what you mentioned. Like last episode, everything felt so tight and so intense, and so everything felt like it mattered and it made sense. And this episode, like just in the first 5 minutes, we've been talking about the first 5 minutes. 3 things didn't make sense, or 2 things didn't make sense. But it was still cool seeing the brute.
Yeah.
And at least we didn't get a full Quan episode. I'd rather just them quicken it and Quan and then meet up with Chief and them instantly.
That's true. I did have some issues with Quan in this episode, so we could talk about that now if you want.
Yeah, you could go ahead. What were your issues?
My main issue was that there's no reason that she needed to bury Vanek, and she was so insistent about her being the one. I understand that
she's know him.
No, they never met. So, but like the thing was, she was trying to use him as like a proxy for her family and being able to bury her family, but she never met this guy, and she's like pushing so hard for Chief to help bury him, and then when he doesn't, she gets all annoyed, and it's just like, why do you care? And then she does it, and the people get upset saying you can't bury him on, for whatever reason, and she still is trying and fighting. It was just annoying.
I'm telling you, I feel like it's the characters trying to make us like her. Like, oh, she cares about Vanek, she wants to bury the dead, like that's what humans do, we can relate, like, Chief, come on, you should be caring about this. Like, I just feel like it's the writers like forcing us to like her.
And then she had that vision of that lady from that other planet that got glassed, which I don't know.
Are they? I read some theories. Are they trying to set her up with like some Forerunner crap?
I read that too. Like that lady was a Forerunner or descendant or something. And I mean, the stuff with her family and the well on Madrigal kind of seems like she has some connection to the Forerunner, like Master Chief does.
What's that creature called? Well, this is not with her, but with Maki. What's that creature called in Halo 3?
The Grave Mind.
People are kind of saying that she could become the Grave Mind.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that.
Well, I've just read theories, and this doesn't even pertain to the episode, but just got me thinking.
Huh. maybe. That would be interesting. I don't know how I'd feel about that, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I would either. Anyways, it's just anything with Juan Soren, is that his name? Soren. Is he a made-up Spartan too, or is he in the books or comics or anything?
I think he's made up for the show, but I'm not sure.
I think I read he's made up for the show too. So theoretically, he's made up, Juan's made up, and the wife is made up. I don't remember her name.
Lara, yeah.
And they're focusing so much on those three.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even get to see Perez or what happened with them.
Yeah, really. I did not care about the Soren finding his son. Literally every time it went to that, I was just like, why did Quan put him on that stupid ship? I got mad at Quan.
Oh, yes. Like all this trouble because Quan couldn't just bring him on the ship with her and say, wait here for a minute.
Yeah.
Stupid. You should be blaming Quan.
Yeah. The thing that kind of saved it could maybe make it more interesting to me, is the fact that he did get taken by the UNSC, and I wonder what they're going to do with it. I mean, a son of a Spartan, that might be something that they use later on, which could be interesting.
It's interesting in theory.
Yeah. We'll see how they do it.
It's just the writers forcing these characters into the story still.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point in them being in the story. So in theory, that could be cool, but I don't have faith that storyline's going to be interesting at all, because I don't give a crap what happens to that kid or them. I really don't. I like Soren, whatever his name is. Soren. I like Soren, like it's freaking Lord of the Rings. I like Soren. I do like him as a character, but I don't care about his wife. I don't care about his kid. I don't have any connection. And I have kids, and I felt nothing about these people's relationship, like this family dynamic. Nothing.
It just doesn't feel like it should be in a Halo show. I don't know. No,
like not at all. Like I felt more for Perez and her family. And we saw Perez's family like once or twice, and I felt more bad for Perez. But man, she I know I mentioned it, but man, she acted so good in that last episode that it made it so believable. What else happened in this episode? There's a lot of just, they buried Bannock, and Chief made his little speech that he's going to avenge him.
I think
the little weird vision.
Yeah, the weird vision thing. I think the two other scenes that I think are important to talk about are, we did get to see the beginning of the Spartan 3s, which Ackerson is doing on Onyx, which is pretty cool. The Ghosts of Onyx book was really good. And Kai is helping him out, which we got to see, which we talked about before, but we hadn't really seen yet. And then the McKee scene with the Arbiter and Cortana.
Yes, that's right.
So it seems like the Arbiter is now stepping away from the Covenant and going on his own way to go find the Halo Ring, because Cortana showed that vision of the Halo Ring.
That's right, because he was going to go back to
High Charity.
And Maki is like, no, don't. You know what they're going to do. And she's trying to convince him, and then, Cortana puts up that vision of Halo, or he thinks it's a vision of Halo.
Yeah. One thing I saw was that people are theorizing that because we saw some of Parangoski and like how she was involved in the removal of Cortana. I don't remember if that was that this episode? I think it might have been.
The removal of Cortana?
Yeah, we saw like Chief on the operating table, and it was kind of hinted that was when Cortana was being removed from him, and he says that it was Parangoski. I think that was this episode. Maybe the last one, I don't know. But I saw some people theorizing that Parangoski is the reason that Cortana was left, and that she's using Cortana to kind of bait the Covenant into either maybe showing them the way to Halo, or like baiting them to Onyx so they can fight with their new Spartan 3s.
Interesting.
Like, we were talking about, why the heck would they leave Cortana? Well, if they're using Cortana to bait them somewhere, that makes a little more sense.
Oh, that would make sense, because then if the Covenant does reach Halo, they would know.
Yeah, they would know where it is, yeah.
Or even just spying on the Covenant.
Yeah, or Cortana could be giving, like, maybe she gives them the wrong coordinates and it sends them to Onyx where they're waiting with a bunch of Spartan 3s and they attack or something. Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Realistically, like, even if Cortana's just kind of like an inside spy and just goes, does everything they say, she could somehow get information back, or if she ever gets back. Yeah, that is actually interesting. I didn't think about that.
So that could be
So does she have a tracking device on her?
I don't know. Or does she have a way to like delete herself if it goes wrong, or a way for them to find her?
Does she have a way to like send them information?
I don't know.
Via a computer or something?
I would hope so if they're making that bet, but
she could be studying the Covenant ships and the Covenant everything. That is an interesting theory, actually. One thing back to Kai and them. Do you think they're gonna? So there's two things. Are they pitting her and gone against each other, or are they more so gonna be like, we're working together, but you're following us kind of thing? Like, I'm the leader of this people, you do your own thing.
I think in the immediate time frame, they're pitting them against each other, but there'll probably come a time where they'll have to work together and get over like.
So she's supposed to be like, is she supposed to be Locke? Is she kind of replacing Locke?
I don't think so. I think she's replacing a Spartan called, I think his name is Kurt in the books, and he is one of the Spartans that trains the Spartan 3s. I think Locke was the Spartan 4s.
So he's later down the line.
Yeah, Locke is a Spartan 4.
I wonder if he'll ever show up in the show.
Yeah, I mean, they could use the actor that they literally used in the game.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So, yeah, that would be cool.
Interesting. So we have, with this, I believe there's only 8 episodes, right? Am I correct on this one?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So we have 3, 8, 5, 6, so we have 3 more episodes. Okay. So 3 more episodes. We already passed the Fall of Rage. I'm going to give season 2 the benefit of the doubt that this is going to be the lowest point of the season, and we'll pick right back up and we'll finish strong. This is their one chance for me. Like, it's not a bad episode. It's definitely the lowest point for me in the sense of after being on such a high. I'm probably putting it lower because I was on such a high the last episode. Honest, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving them this episode. It wasn't bad. It was okay. But if the quality of the next 3 are like this one, then the season will fall down in ratings for me.
Next episode is the same director as this one, but it is a different writer. So we'll see.
Okay. That's so odd to me. So do they have a different writer and director every episode?
Mostly. So
like, I get that for like shows like CSI and stuff, but a show like this, really?
Every 2 there's a different director, and then there's a different writer.
Director's fine.
Yeah, there's a different writer for every episode except for 1 and 8 have the same writer.
So the first episode and the last episode.
Yeah. And
they have different writers for every episode. That's odd to me. That's not common, right? In a show like this.
I don't know. I haven't really paid that much attention.
I mean, you have shows, like Game of Thrones, who the writers were for that, right? Or are they all different? That's, I'm going to look into that. I guess I've never really paid attention to that either.
Yeah, I'm looking at Masters of the Air to see. They're all written by John Orloff. So, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that's, like I said, maybe for like shows like, I don't know, like Supernatural and those kind of shows. But like for just an actual scripted, like 8-episode continuous show, that's odd to me. Yeah, because you think about Stranger Things is all written by the Duffer Brothers.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is all written by those 2 guys. I don't remember their names.
Monarch Legacy of Monsters does have different writers for most of the episodes, so I guess it does
This depends, I guess.
Yeah, the main writer will be on the big ones, it looks like, because this one, Chris Black wrote 3 of the episodes, like the first 2.
I'll say this, you could definitely tell the difference, though, with shows with writer and multiple writers. Because some episodes in Monarch felt different.
Yeah.
I remember those few middle episodes.
Definitely.
And Masters of the Air, I could see that being the same directors or writers because it feels consistent.
Consistency is a good term for that. Yep.
Okay, well, we'll see. But yeah, so I'm still digging it. Low point for me, but it's still a great sci-fi show.
I think still better than season 1, even though it was not the best of the season.
They got to really fumble 3 episodes for it to be on season 1 level, and still no Master Cheeks, so that's a plus. Although, when is he going to get his armor back? Is he not going to get his armor till the finale?
I don't know. I hope not. I'll say that.
I hope not either. And I'm not necessarily bothered by him not having armor, but it also doesn't mean I don't want to see him in his armor.
Right. I kind of hope that he'll realize like how vulnerable he is without his armor, and then once he gets it back, he like won't take it off as much, maybe.
That would be pretty cool, actually. Like if he gets his butt beat these next couple episodes, and then he gets his armor back in the finale, and then for the rest of the series, like we hardly ever see him with the helmet off. That would be a great like transition and like a fix.
Yeah, basically be like the season 2 showrunners being like, yeah, we realized it's dumb, and so did he.
Yeah, but at least like with this season, they're making it make a little sense. And like now, if he did keep his helmet on 24/7, we would know who's underneath. So I get what they're trying to go for, but like I still want him to have his helmet on.
Yeah.